You ever have one of those moments where you feel the whole world's eyes on you, and no, something's about to crack wide open? That was me, Maya William. The afternoon Charlotte Alden's voice rang out across the veranda, sharp enough to slice the Texas heat. You're just a lowly maid. She said it loud, proud, and let me tell you, forks froze midair, conversations died. Just like that, the world shrank to one trembling centerpiece and 1,000 stares. I stood there, trying to steady a vase of ivory roses that had slid maybe an inch. Didn't tip, didn't spill, but enough to put a target on my back. Charlotte in her satin gown, pearls winking in the sun, eyes locked on me like I'd set fire to her big day. Look what you've done, she spat. This is a wedding, not a church potluck. That stung, but not as much as her mother, Margaret, stepping forward, lips pursed. You people should know better than to touch what you can't afford. And right there, she didn't even bother to lower her voice. The words, you people, just hung in the air, hot and mean. And I swear I could feel every eye in that garden press against my skin. I tried to keep my cool, told her the vase just shifted. I'd fix it, tried to move on. But Charlotte crossed her arms, all venom. Don't act like you don't know what we mean. Your background, that's your role. So if you want to keep your paycheck, maybe you should drop to your knees and apologize. I looked at her, vase steady in my hand, and something in me just locked in place. I said, calm as I could, I've already apologized. I'll fix the centerpiece, but I won't kneel. You could almost hear the gasp ripple through the lawn, like a spark running through dry grass. Then, out of nowhere, a new voice. What did you just say? It was Grant Kingsley, the groom, coming out from behind the archway, tall and steady, eyes never leaving Charlotte. You disrespected my father, he said. A black man you invited to sit front row. When you talk down to Maya, you insult him. You insult me. Charlotte tried to wave it off. You're overreacting, but Grant shook his head. I'm seeing clearly for the first time. He slipped off his ring, dropped it into Charlotte's shaking hand, and said, this wedding is off. Yeah, that happened. In front of everybody. Gasps, chair scraping, some guests just walked out, others shook their heads. Charlotte looked around for support, but nobody came. Her mother tried to speak, but the words dried up. And me? I stood there, hands still smelling of lemon polish and roses, apron tight, name tag crooked, too stunned to cry, too proud to bow out. I walked away from that garden, the sunlight dappling the grass, not sure where my legs were taking me. At the back, my friend Carmen, she bakes, barely 20, ran up, breathless. Did he really cancel the wedding because of you? I shook my head. He canceled it because of what he believes. I just happened to be the reason he finally said it out loud. Carmen blinked. They'll blame you, you know. I nodded. I know. Mr. Langston, the general manager, found me soon after, voice low but sharp. You're a good worker, Maya, but after today, you're on paid leave. We're already getting calls. I expected worse. When I collected my bag from the break room, Marcus, the bar back with squeaky shoes, found me. You made a stand, he said, voice breaking a little. You didn't try to make a scene. You made us visible. I managed to smile, thanked him, then walked to my old Corolla, heart thumping with something I hadn't felt in years. Relief and terror twisted together. Grant found me in the parking lot. No jacket, sleeves rolled, looking tired but steady. If you hadn't stood up, I might have gone through with it. Might have kept ignoring what was wrong. He looked me in the eye and offered something wild. A job managing his new restaurant in Austin, built from scratch, a place where nobody would ever be asked to kneel for dignity. You're offering me a job? I whispered. I'm offering you a chance to build something better. He said that I didn't know what to say. But as I stood there, feeling the weight of 1,000 stares finally drop away, I realized I'd been seen, really seen, and it was worth more than any apology. The next morning, my phone blew up, messages from Carmen, Marcus, strangers. There was cell phone footage of the whole thing, me refusing to kneel, Grant calling off the wedding. It went viral. Hashtag #JustALiMaid trending. Stories pouring in from folks who'd been humiliated, who'd stayed silent. But with the support came the backlash. She ruined a rich girl's life. Another angry black woman. It hurt, but I'd heard worse. Ruth, my old mentor from the kitchen, showed up with fried catfish and collard greens. "They're panicking," she said. "The Aldens lost sponsors, the PR machine's in overdrive. But girl, you cracked something open." That night, a message from Charlotte. "I'm sorry, I was overwhelmed." Just words. But then Grant called, telling me the new restaurant, Uprise, was happening. Full benefits, mental health support, education stipends, leadership roles for people of color. He wanted me to lead, not as a symbol, but because I'd shown what grace under pressure looked like. I said yes. The weeks that followed were a blur. Interviews, planning meetings, staff lists. Uprise was built on dignity, not charity. First-round hires were folks who'd once been invisible. Carmen, Marcus, Ruth. One night, Grant showed me the plans for a community table in the center, somewhere your grandmother could have walked in and felt at home. I smiled. She'd have checked the spice rack first, that we kept the press at arm's length. I didn't want to be a headline. I wanted real change. So when Stephen Lang from The Atlantic asked for an interview, I agreed on one condition: tell everyone's story, not just mine. The article, "The Maid Who Didn't Kneel," went viral in ways none of us expected. Donations came in, big names called, but I kept showing up to mop the floors, working shoulder to shoulder with my team. Then came a visit I never expected: Harold Kingsley, Grant's father. He sat in my office, confessed his own silence, his own failures. "You lifted everyone up," he said. He wanted to help, to invest, but I told him, help the community, not just the restaurant. Fund our scholarship, our food truck project. He agreed. Later that night, a check with 7 zeros arrived. No signature, just for the next one. With every step, Uprise grew, serving community meals, launching mentorships, building real equity. There were haters, sure, and a nasty video of Charlotte surfaced, but I refused to fight fire with fire. We doubled down on our purpose. When the city council honored me, I showed up in my old uniform, the same one I wore the day I stood tall and refused to kneel. Opening day at our Detroit location, a woman pressed a note into my hand. For the first time, my daughter saw someone like her command a room without raising her voice. I thought of my mother, her kindness, her backbone, how every meal we served now was an act of hope. And yeah, the world's still rough, still divided, but at the turning table, the name we chose, dignity, sits at the head, and every soul who ever knelt now stands with me. You know what I mean? We built something that won't ever be OWS. Oh, I gotta ask. Have you ever witnessed a moment where someone refused to kneel, and it changed everything? Let me know below. Your voice might just help someone else rise.